Welcome everybody, this is Cassie, the mistress of rolling, and today I'm going to be showing off some of my wins and fails, and to hopefully go over what I've done right and wrong in the game that I'm playing today, and what you can learn from it, and just give some tips and some tricks, and also look at my own gameplay and where I can learn from. Anyway, this is the build. What it bases around is all the rolling ability. The incitement card means that if I hit the first shot of my incitement, it reduces the cooldown by 3 seconds, which is pretty massive. Then we've got Onslaught, which gives a bit of lifesteal on the start of the roll. This isn't a massive card, but it just gives you that bit of survivability. And when you're dueling somebody, it gives you that extra oomph. The ammo count is just nice to have. It basically reduces your reload speed in the fact that you don't have to reload as often. Somersault, dropping below 30% health resets the cooldown of dodge roll. I've got that on 2 levels, and then basically this one's a big one, so whenever you're hurt you can get away and you're in a critical condition, you can run away. And finally, lunge increases the distance by 40%, which is another big one because we're all about the roll and going further is better. Anyway, normally when I save these games, I save them after the fact, so I didn't actually catch the start of this game, but this is actually a competitive match. And first off, we're just trying to dish out some damage, but what I didn't notice was how many of my own team had gone down, and I was doing a bit of flanking, trying to do as much damage as I could, and I got flanked by the Victor. I actually almost took the Victor down, and in fact, he came back around. I thought the Androxus would be able to finish him off, but the Androxus was bogged down too much, and I probably had too much of a focus on thinking that I could put out the damage. But yeah, we've gone out again. The Ruckus is quite a big problem. He's putting out a lot of damage. And again, I've come in to try and put out some damage. We're trying to hold them at this choke, but it's quite difficult. They are sort of deathballing. They've got 2 healers here as well. They've got a Pip and a Ying. The Pip was playing a bit more as a flanker, but that means that later in the game, when we get cauterized, we'll be able to counter them quite a lot. And a lot of our team have already got cauterized. I took shields, the Wrecker card this time to damage shields because of mainly Ruckus, because I could take him out easier. Basically, I just wanted to focus him down. The Makoa shield you can fire at, but the duration's so low that I don't often bother with it. And like here, I'm trying to focus the Ruckus, but the damage they're putting out and their positioning is actually quite good, and they're able to hold us off quite easily. Just getting the high ground, and actually here, both the Victor and the Ruckus flank around, and are doing quite a lot, and without me noticing, the Ruckus has gone to the back there by our spawn and is dishing out a lot of damage, and I don't think I even noticed him until this ulti comes out and bam, destroyed. Yeah, this is not going well so far, but the Bomb King putting out a lot of damage there, and props to them, they did a lot of work there. And now that they're right next to our spawn room, we're able to just get straight back into the action. And I knew the Victor was down there. I missed the first shot and used the blast shot to just finish them off. Well, it's not going so well so far, so I wonder how the game will go further on. You just have to keep watching to find out. But what I've done here is I've come to try and knock them off their horses. I was kind of hoping that perhaps one of our flankers would do it. I don't know, do we have a flanker? I can't remember the exact set. Oh no, we do. We've got the Androxus. The Androxus should have been up here really as well, stopping them from coming around. But what I did there did hold them off for a little bit, and I was able to get a kill and also retreat quite easily. Here I've gone a bit YOLO and I've gone a bit out, but it did force the Makoa to use his ultimate. But if the Makoa was paying proper attention, he could have easily killed me there. And I'm just looking at what to get. I think I hold out for the minute. I might go Master Riding because that's something that I normally do, because it's just such a useful card at the moment. It just means you can get into the fight straight away. And there, nice action on Pip, just basically dishing out the damage, making sure that I line up the shots. And here the Ruckus as well, putting out damage. It takes his with the Wrecker, it takes his shields out easier. And whenever the Makoa goes into a shield and he's alone, I'll jump inside that and try and kill him as quickly as I can. But yeah, my aim was a bit off then. I should have really got him a bit earlier than that. And yeah, like I've said in many other videos, when people are doing something good, put in good job, because it's always just nice to have. And I'm deciding whether to get Haven for myself or Wrecker, and they do have a lot of damage coming out, especially with the Victor and the Ruckus, and Haven really counters them, stopping 20% of the direct damage now, and then 30% when I get the 3rd level, which I think I do in this game, but we'll just have to see. I do have an extra 300, so I could have got Master Riding 1, and that could have been really helpful actually. That might have been something I should have really done. I think I might do that when I come back to the spawn if I remember the game correctly. So at the moment it's 7 eliminations, 5 deaths, which isn't that great, but let's just see how the rest of the game goes. We're all riding in. There isn't much tactics going on. We aren't communicating that much. I'm just getting on some high ground and deciding to put out some damage. I've tried flanking and it didn't work last time. It just got me killed. And like I see here, the Makoa's in his shield, so I wanted to come in, try and do some damage. Rather than really try and take down that shield, because the shield doesn't last very long and has quite a lot of health, so I didn't bother with that. And yet we were able to kill the Ruckus and then come around and kill the Ying. I do take out the illusions when I can, as long as I don't have line of sight of the Ying, otherwise I'd be going for the Ying. And here I've come around again. I'm doing the job of the flanker really, and stopping them from coming onto the point. I do think my team should have been around here, stopping them at this choke point rather than all being on the point. But what I did there did give enough time so that they couldn't get to the point in time. Like the capture point just captured them before anyone was able to get there. But it could have been better if everyone was around and on that little choke point there. But it still works, so that's all good. But it did mean that I died. So come around again, just seeing what we can get. I found the Ying. I put the Q, the blast shot, on the Ying, especially because of the heals. It reduces healing by 50%, so it's pretty massive. So you've got to use once you've done a little bit of burst on the damage, then put the blast shot on anyone that can heal themselves. Also worth mentioning is that if you use the blast shot after rolling, then it's kind of worthless because you lose the extra damage that you get on your first shot. So basically you get extra damage on your first shot after rolling, which is why rolling is so important, because you get extra damage, it's your massive mobility, and also now with my card that I've got, the extra healing, I get the extra damage and the lifesteal, which is a higher lifesteal because of the extra damage on that whenever you critical with your roll. And then also that it's on really low cooldown when I hit the first hit. So it's really important for me to hit my first hits like here, and it does work actually on anything, so it could be a illusion like just there, the cooldown actually went down. Here I'm just behind the shields, I'm in a bit of trouble, but what I did, I put on my blast shot to try and reduce healing because there's a massive group of them, which I think was quite good. And here I've actually come around the flank, I've tried to get away from the action, and I was able to kill the Ying like there. I put the blast shot on, but I was so low, I was on 18 health, and the Makoa was able to just come around and finish me off. Just that little tickle is all that I needed, but it does actually look like the point might be safe. Or the payload, or actually we're pushing the payload, sorry. But we've all been pushed back now to our own choke point. So this team is being a bit more aggressive than what would normally happen. And the Victor made a mistake there by coming around here to have a duel with me, finish them off. And we're just looking again to see what I was thinking whether or not to engage, because sometimes it's worth just coming out of the action and not engaging, but here I think I was needed to put out the damage, so I rolled in and tried to put out as much damage as possible and tried to get the lifesteal rather than healing normally. And actually coming down here we're able to put out some damage and just help the team push back, which we're all doing very well. And again I've caught the Victor out with Squishy, and actually Cassie's pretty good against the Victor, because especially unlike there I was going backwards. The problem with Victor is he puts out a lot of constant damage, so having duels further away from him can be difficult, especially as Cassie, because your projectiles aren't that fast moving, but you do 700 damage all of the time, whereas Victor has a bit of drop off. So being next to Victor isn't always a massive positive really. And here I can see the Victor's firing through, so I'm just shooting around that corner to stop them from being able to shoot down to the point and put out a lot of damage. And I saw my two teammates went up there, so I left the Victor to them and hope that they get them. And Ruckus above us, just trying to put out as much damage as possible, to be honest, and staying behind this. And something that Pip has got this game is he's completely put into morale, and I think he gets morale 3 maybe at this point, so he keeps having his ultimate and chickening us. But with chicken, as long as you jump around in circles around the siege, the payload even, you can usually survive. And this push failed because of that ultimate really. And yeah, the Androx is like, this Pip uses ult, and I think now I'm gonna have a look at the tab menu so I can see. Oh no, yeah, he's got morale 3, so he gets it pretty much all the time. And something worth doing is communicating who has what on the enemy team. I think what would be nice in the game is to be able to ping items and sometimes and maybe ping a player to say they've gotten their ultimate or something, an enemy player. That'd be quite useful. Like here I'm trying to point out that the Pip has morale 3, so he's going to have his ultimate pretty much all of the time. Actually, this game would have been probably quite good with getting resilience to stop you from having so much of the effect of Pip's ultimate, but hey-ho. And we're coming right round again. I'm going for the flank this time. I want to go up and kill that Victor, I think, but I didn't find the Victor. I'm just behind them. When you get this vantage point, it's quite a big deal, because they're not really expecting me to be up here. But with the Ying ultimate and a lot of healing going on, it is a bit of a struggle. But I do see the Ying hoping to take him out, but then prioritizing the Makoa because he's so low. But just because of the healing, I can't take any of them out, not quite. And using my ulti there just to see where they are, so I can jump around this corner and fire it off. I actually used the blast shot there. I shouldn't have used that then. I think I did actually see the Makoa chasing after the Ying. Almost died there. That was a bit of bad shooting. But we did get them, as we should have done. If we hadn't got them, it would have been bad. Able to kill the Victor. Using the shot first, the normal shot, as I've mentioned before, because you get the extra damage, then using the blast shot to give a bit of burst damage, which it can also be used for because it just gives that extra bit of damage. And here again, now we're, as a team, we're stopping them from coming up to the payload, up to the capture point even, and that's sort of the best way to do it, to deny them and knock them off their horses as they're coming up. And here I was able to put the anti-healing on 3 of them, but again we got the Pip's ulti, and it was a big deal. I rolled away. I'm gonna die here surely. But yeah, I rolled away. Didn't quite get away. But still putting out quite a lot of damage there. But with 2 healers, it doesn't matter because they'll just heal up right away afterwards. Coming back into the fight again, I've got riding 1, which means that hopefully I'll be able to get into the fight as quick as possible and just keep putting out my damage and basically doing what a Cassie does, rolling around and owning faces, I guess. Yeah, like with the Wrecker there, I was able to just take out his shield straight away on the Ruckus. And the Ruckus on his own, away from the payload, is pretty weak because they can't use their a Q, which does a shield on all their allies and themselves, and it mitigates some of the damage. And here again we're fighting the Makoa. Something earlier that happened, which I didn't really pick up on, was I rolled as I was fighting the Makoa at the start. Because the Makoa usually try and hook you right at the start of the fight, so it was actually a good move. I think I might have rolled on the other Makoa as well. Here was a bit of a mistake. I rolled into the Pip, and I think I might miss my anti-heal there. So, and yeah, again, I'm looking at Master Riding 2, but I thought, well, actually, let's just completely burst down the Ruckus because they're putting out a lot of damage. Whether or not that was the best idea, I'm not sure, because Master Riding is quite a big deal. And we were taking out the Ruckus pretty quickly anyway. But here, like now, I should be able to take the shield out, the emitter shield as well, just pretty quickly, like there. It's almost gone 2 hits, so that's nice. And the Victor's sort of trapped. Oh, I didn't get him. That was rubbish. Putting out a lot of damage, but again, with the healers, it makes it a bit of a moot point. I see the soldier fighting over there. Should have probably prioritized that and got the hit off on the soldier, but I thought that the which the Fernando does, he gets the Victor, but it took him a bit longer than I thought. And here again, I'm being a bit too aggressive with the Pip perhaps, but I do get them. But I was jumping into a Pip when they can usually duel you with their heals and doing their AoE damage, which I've got Haven at the moment, so I haven't got much resistance to it. I'm like, now, I rolled there, got the extra damage, used the blast shot, putting out as much damage as I could on that Ruckus to stop that ultimate going through. And yep, there's a victory, and we basically pushed them back and used all of the tactics that we could. It started off pretty badly, but we were able to turn it around. And who got the top play? Is that Joshi? No, I've never heard of them as Cassie. Fantastic. Let's see which one this one is then. This one's. I thought this one was rubbish. So we got the pinned. Oh right, okay. So we come round and then kill the Ying and the Victor. Okay, this one was all right then. Maybe not all of my work, but hey, it's pretty cool anyway. And yeah, so my team did all do very well. They must have just got a friend request during that game, and I accept all of them. So there we go. Put out the GG well played, because it was a well played game, and After that point, we looked at the damage, put out a lot of damage. It was 120,536 damage, whereas their team's highest was 88,000. So I think I did a lot of work that game, and a lot of it was because of the master riding, because I kept getting into the action over and over again. 31 eliminations to 12 deaths. You know, I died quite a bit, but like I said, with being able to get back into the game, it was alright. It worked out. I had 2,100 shielding. I don't know how exactly, but there we go. It might have actually, I don't know. Actually, I really don't know what that shielding was from. But I can live with some extra shielding. And 114 objective time, but it wasn't really my job to go on the objective that often, so it wasn't that high. So Cassie's kind of my bae, probably my main hero at the moment, and I just love playing her. Probably one of the best damage as well. She's countered by Haven, so if you have a whole team of characters that are direct damage, then you're going to be in trouble. And if everyone else is direct damage, you probably want to look at getting Drogos instead, or Bomb King perhaps. But those are characters that I'm not so good at, so I'd pick a flanker or something else, or maybe play support or tank if I couldn't get Cassie, or like Victor I can play, but I think everyone can play Victor. But with 700 damage a shot, and it being 0.7 seconds each shot, it's a lot of DPS going out right there. And also with the mobility, the roll, you can almost play like a flanker because you've got so much mobility, and especially with the incitement where you're dropping the cooldown by 3 seconds, and also the card where you are being able to roll after you get to 30% health, or the first level is 15%, but I find that leaves things a bit hairy, but you could always have that instead and get something extra like another shot on your bow. But yeah, just the mobility, the damage, it puts her firmly in my spot as my favourite damage hero, and one of the best really. Anyway, did you all enjoy the video? Be sure to let me know in the comment section below if it helped you, or any tips that you might have, or any thoughts on my gameplay where I could improve, or where it's helped you improve perhaps. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button, and subscribe for more of my content. Thank you all very much for watching. Until next time everybody, Joshino.